Hello again, and a big welcome back to the second part of the Irish Life Health Athletics Awards. And in among the recipients yesterday, we saw the Under-20 award for Rashida Adelecki. The Under-23 awards go to David Kenny and Dara McElhinney. And then there were the senior awards in endurance for Brendan Boyce and track and field for Thomas Barr. And at the end of this second part of the proceedings, we will be crowning the overall Athlete of the Year. But we've much more to get through before that finale. And to start off in this second part, it's the Team of the Year. And there's never been a year when we've had so many strong cases for the winning of this award. Ireland's 200-metre women's relay took silver at the World Finals in Poland in May. Just a matter of weeks ago, there was a silver for the Irish junior men at the European Cross Country and, of course, gold for the Irish Under-23 men. And all three teams could have been worthy winners of this award in many other years. But this was a truly extraordinary year in which an Irish relay team made it into an Olympic final for the very first time. Their qualification performance in Silesia in Poland in May featured storming relay legs by Charlene Maudsley and Thomas Barr. And then in Tokyo, the team of Cillian Green, Phil Healy, Sophie Becker and Chris O'Donnell took more than 3 seconds off that record with a time of 3 minutes, 12.88 seconds. Good enough for fourth place in their semi-final. And so on to that historic appearance in an Olympic final. The television and magazine photos of the team looking up to the electronic scoreboard, waiting for the confirmation of their achievement, is one of the real Irish athletic images of 2021. And so the Team of the Year is the Irish mixed relay.
Wow, thank you so much. Yeah, we worked very hard for this year. You know, it was a big target, and I'd like to thank all my teammates who worked very hard. You know, we denied in Poland where we qualified. It was a squad of 6. You know, myself, Phil, Thomas, Charlene, and we had Andrew and Sophie as well in the squad. Drew Harrison was our coach there, and then in Tokyo it was Cillian, Phil, Sophie, myself, and Rob and Cleena were there as well, and they were amazing sport as well.
The Olympics was just amazing. Like, I can't think of anything else, any other word that will do it justice. Like, you know, since I've started athletics when I was 8 years old, and when I decided this was something I wanted to do seriously, the Olympics is the pinnacle of the sport. It's all that you dream of. So to actually be there on the world stage, competing at the Olympics, and then to be in the Olympic final, to call myself an Olympic finalist alongside Phil, Cillian and Chris is just an amazing experience.
When we qualified in Poland, it was a big deal, and you know, it was a big goal to have achieved, to qualify for the Olympics. And then when we got there, we exceeded expectations again. I suppose we backed up a run in Poland to show it wasn't a fluke, and then to become the first ever Irish team in Olympic final is something that will stay for us forever. So
I think it's a really good way of demonstrating male and female in the sport and how we work together. It shows like just everybody works equally, and I think it creates great respect among the athletes, and it's fun to do and fun to watch.
I did a lot of relays when I was younger, and just in school, with your classmates. You know, during PE or whatever, you'd always have a relay race, and then you do community games or whatever, and the fun part of that is always the relays, because you know, you're running with your friends and the guys who you're growing up with at the time. So I dedicated my life to this, and I was happy to make that decision. You know, I decided when I was young, just I'm gonna do this, and this is what I want to do. So the work is hard, but it has to be done. And then when you get days like that, it makes it all worth it in the end. So yeah, it's enjoyable, and there's always something to look forward to as well. So, you know, this year there's plenty on the horizon as well. So yeah, really enjoyable.
On behalf of the Mixed 4x4 Relay, I am absolutely thrilled to accept this award for Team of the Year. Thank you to Athletics Ireland, my coaches, and to all the support we see throughout the year.
Next, we move on to the Mountain Runner of the Year. And while this was a relatively quiet year in the sport due to COVID restrictions for our award winner, when he did eventually get to travel, he really left his mark on the slopes, finishing 4th in the vertical Nisego in Italy, and then really claiming a prestigious title, winning the Chamonix vertical kilometre, an incredibly daunting race where the athletes cover between 3 and 5 kilometres with at least a 1,000-metre climb. That's the height of the tallest mountain in Ireland, Carrauntoohil. Extreme stuff. But when it comes to turning out for his club, Newcastle AC, he can also be found running the national cross country when required, which must seem like a walk in the park by comparison. And it definitely isn't a walk in the park, as we saw last November in Santry. He's a young man going places, mostly in an upward trajectory. And that man, the mountain runner of the year, is Zach Hanna.
Look, Jake, thank you very much. It's a huge surprise to actually win this award. I'm sure there's been many top athletes in the past have received this before me, and to be actually nominated for this award is huge, but to win it is even better. So just like it's not just me who's won this award, it's the team that I have behind me. Just like to thank my family, friends, sponsors, my coach and my running club. I'd just like to thank all of them because they have been huge in helping me get to where I am today, and hopefully with their backing I can go on and just bring more success to the sport for Ireland. Before I was a runner, I was a cyclist for 11 years, so I competed in road, mountain biking and in cyclocross. I competed all over Ireland. I just sort of stumbled upon mountain running through several friends who also took part in mountain running as well as cycling, who had recommended that I give it a go, and I done a few races sort of local to me, joined my local club and haven't looked back since. I actually enjoy training. Getting up in the morning and heading into the mountains for a couple of hours, there is no better way to start your morning. 2021 was a different year for me. I actually spent 5 months in Italy. In June, I was in Chamonix in France. This race started in the middle of Chamonix and it climbed up to a peak which was just 2,000 meters high. So I was actually lucky enough to win it. Those wee fine margins are what helped me win that race, and I think it was just a huge relief when I found out that I did win it. It was just a massive, massive surprise to me. So really, really, really happy to win that one.
Now, the next award category winner is a true phenomenon, and his achievement this year in becoming the World Over 60s Marathon champion in front of the crowds in the Mall in London was the culmination of an astonishingly high level of performance over the last few years. The award winner is a former Dublin Marathon winner and a Derry man who has run under 2 hours and 30 minutes for the distance in 4 decades, with a best time of 2 hours, 13 minutes on his way to qualifying for the Barcelona Olympics in 1992. Almost 30 years later, on his way to winning the World Over 60s Marathon title in London last October, the 61-year-old had to take a pit stop. It cost him over a minute on his watch, and he crossed the line just over 46 seconds past the 2 hour, 30-minute barrier that he so dearly wanted to break. It was still a phenomenal run at 61. No one has ever run quicker at his age. There was also a world 50-kilometre best time, which was more than 20 minutes quicker for his age group than the previous record. In fact, he holds 13 at last count world age-related records. He's battled lots of issues to get to where he is, one being a parathyroid problem that required surgery in 2018. And since then, he's been utterly reborn as an athlete. He actually ran a 2 hour, 27-minute marathon in 2019 at 59 years of age. And with his son Owen just over 3 minutes behind him on that day in Frankfurt, they combined for a world record 4 hours, 59 minutes for a father and son combination in a marathon. That record, by the way, is in the Guinness Book of Records. He also ran an extraordinary 71-minute half marathon at 60. He had hoped, by the way, to run a sub-2:30 marathon in December, but was scuppered by COVID restrictions. But that's still the goal, as he chases the 5th decade of his life under 2 hours, 30 minutes for the 26.2-mile race. But for now, he has to be content, you could say, with being the best there is in his age group in the world in a staggering 13 categories. And he's the over 60s world marathon champion. And he's just turned 62. So well done, Tommy Hughes, our Masters Award winner for 2021.
I'd like to thank you very much. That was definitely unexpected for me because there wasn't much happening this year because of COVID and all, but I was able to run 2 marathons, one in the Chester Marathon, which I ran 2:20, 2:31, and the London Marathon, which incorporated the World Masters Marathon Championships, which I won in the over 60s. So I'm delighted to be able to receive this award from Athletics Ireland, and I really appreciate it, and thank you very much. I just got married and I was putting on a bit of weight, so I decided to go run and take the weight off. I'm always mad about sport, so when I found out I was good at something, that's when I just go, right, it's time to see how far I can get at the running. And I got further than I ever thought I would when I represented Ireland in 1992 in Barcelona in the Olympics. So in the meantime, I won Dublin Marathon, and I've won the Melbourne Marathon in Australia, and I've won Marrakesh Marathon in Morocco, where they dubbed me the Marrakesh Express, and I've still got that nickname to this day. Well, now that I've turned 60 and I'm starting to break world records at a lot of distances, and particularly the marathon, it becomes more and more important to me now, as the late in my life that I've starting to break world records. So that there really is something I want to keep trying for, and that's what drives me on. The running the marathon is the easiest part. It's the training for the marathon is the hardest part, where you have to do long miles, a lot of like over 100 mile a week, and a long run usually on a Sunday from 17, 20, 23 to even 26 miles training for the marathon, which is, the marathon is all about preparation and getting things right and hoping everything comes together on the day. The marathon is a kind of a special distance that you can't do it every weekend, like a 10K or a half marathon or whatever. A marathon, that you have to do so much preparation in it, and then to get it and do it the way you want to do it, there's so much joy comes out of that. I would like to thank the committee for nominating me, and I'm really delighted to receive this, and thank you very much.
Now, next to the category of Ultra Runner of the Year, and in 2021, the award goes to a man from Lifford Strabane AC, which straddles the border of counties Donegal and Tyrone, and is a traditional real heartland country for serious, tough, long-distance runner. And this award winner fits that category for sure. In the year just past, he set an astonishing new record in the Irish 24-hour championship of 256 kilometres and 570 metres. That's the same as running from Dublin to Cork in the same day. Never before had 250 kilometres been broken by an Irish athlete in a 24-hour period, so it was a huge new Irish record. That was in October. A few months earlier in June, he ran the length of Ireland from south to north, from Mizenhead in Cork to Mallinhead in Donegal in just over 3 days. To be precise, 3 days, 2 hours and 53 minutes. Almost an hour inside the old record. The Ultra Runner of the Year is Ed McGrorty from Raphoe in County Donegal.
Wow, thank you so much. It's a huge honour for me to get the Irish Ultra Runner of the Year award, especially when the standard of Irish ultra running is so high at the moment. While I was training for my first marathon, I came across ultra running online, and it was fascinating to me. I'd never heard of any distance beyond the marathon at that stage, and I was intrigued by it. So once I completed my first marathon, I just wanted to run further, really. We just do it longer, that's all. We enjoy it more than marathon runners, that's all. I think it's, for me, a 24-hour race anyway, which is obviously one whole day in your life. It's like a metaphor for life, because you go through all the emotions that you'll feel in your life. and physically and mentally, you'll feel a high moments of elation, and you'll feel really low moments where you don't believe you can go on. You go through difficult times in your head. Mentally, you'll struggle, with your goal or what you're trying to achieve. So really, you feel all of that during a 24-hour race. And I think to be successful at it, you have to try and not let those feelings overcome you. For me, ultra running, training for ultras is exciting. It's exciting to look forward to a race. It's an adventure to go on a race because generally you're away from home for a few days. You're seeing a new part of the country or a part of the world, staying in a hotel, and then you're meeting new people and you're getting to experience something very, in my opinion, quite unique, And so I do see it as ultra running as an adventure, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I'd like to thank Athletics Ireland and the awards committee for presenting me with this award. I'd like to thank my coach, Luke Coleman, for all his time and commitment. I'd like to thank my physio, Seamus Bogle, for having me in good condition and injury-free. I'd also like to thank the race organisers, volunteers, and my fellow Irish ultra runners for creating an environment that's thoroughly enjoyable to be a part of. And last of all, I'd like to dedicate this award to my crew, Louise McGroarty and Angela McConnell. Without their patience and their dedication, and to my ultra running, I wouldn't have been able to achieve the goals I'd set out for myself. So Louise and Angela, this is for you. Thanks very much.
We turn now to the Development Club of the Year, and really, development is something this club has done at breakneck speed over the last decade or so. Located in North County Dublin, this club actually was in existence many years ago, but I suppose you could say it went into hibernation before re-emerging in 2009, starting back small with only about 30 members in the first year, but it grew rapidly to over 450 within 10 years. And with more and more of us enjoying the benefits of organised, healthy outdoor activity at many levels, the membership is now over 700 and growing. And also growing in the options that it offers to all age groups and all ability levels. From little athletic sessions all the way up to keen senior competitive event groups and masters programmes, there's a coach for you at this club. There's Fit for Youth and Fit for Life programmes with a heavy emphasis on having fun. That, of course, demands volunteers to undergo coach education, and dozens of members have undertaken the various grades of courses, with 7 coaches reaching level 2. This has resulted in regular success at national level in juvenile and masters competition. They partnered incidentally as well with a local school to use their pitch and indoor area, and creatively also went about adding an indoor training centre on a local farm to facilitate coaching in throws and jumps, particularly pole vault. The club catchment area, incidentally, radiates from the town and all around North County Dublin. It is quite simply one of the most energetic and largest clubs in the country, all from a standing start 12 years or so ago. And there are bold plans to improve further for the Development Club of the Year, which is Lusk AC.
Development Club of the Year. Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. That's a brilliant achievement, because for all our coaches, our athletes, our mentors, our parents, there we go, guys, well done. That's just a great achievement.
But we're absolutely thrilled, and I think this is going to be great for the coaches, for our mentors, for our volunteers, for the athletes themselves, because it just shows all of this hard work has paid off. So we're absolutely thrilled. Thank you very much. So the club has gone over 700 members. We have a mix from juveniles up to masters, so that's primarily children from 6 years old up to 66 and plus.
We train for everything. Here tonight, for example, on a Thursday night, we have hurdles going on, we have shot put going on, we have some short sprints, we have distance running, but nearly every day of the week we're training for something.
There's something for everybody in our club. I think people come to LSKC because it's a happy place to be. You're staying fit or you're getting fit. You're coming as a family, so mum, dad, children, everybody, from, as I said, the young to not so young can come.
We have 40 plus coaches in the club, between coaches and mentors. We're very lucky to have people who will give off their time for the athletics we have here, because we're all volunteers, every single one of us, the time we give, and some of our coaches are out 7 nights a week.
So 2022 is looking great for us. Our membership is growing. Lusk itself is growing. New houses, new people are coming in. So we see our club going, increasing in membership. We will expand hopefully our facilities and allow us to have more training sessions than we currently are doing.
We have no facilities whatsoever. Every facility that we have, we pay for. We're allocated 2 slots a week, basically from 6:30 to 8 o'clock on Tuesday and Thursday. And at times there was the other clubs here are either coming in after our training or they are here before our training.
For us, it's about well-being, healthy outlook, and it's a community as well. You get to meet new people, make an awful lot of friends. So to us, it's an extended family.
When you see them develop year on year and getting better at what they do and wanting to do what they want, to do each event, it's an achievement as a coach to see that happening, and I think every coach should experience that, to see them developing, and it's not developing to go out and winning that gold medal all the time. It's developing to the best that they can be. It's for them, just their own achievement as well, But just be the best you can be and don't put any barriers or limitations up. Just go out and enjoy it and do what you can do to the best of your ability,
Now, the Official of the Year has been a hugely popular part of these awards from the very first ceremony back in 2007. And it's one of the most important categories of all. I'm particularly aware as well, over the last couple of years, of the devotion to the sport of the many officials who make the events and championships happen, because the COVID pandemic has made their job all the more inconvenient and enormously time-consuming with the protocols that have to be adhered to. And it's time, of course, that they give voluntarily. Our award recipient this year is a very familiar face, mostly seen as an official starter, which is a really precise job demanding acute concentration in a nerve-jangling environment. He, of course, has many other roles, and it all started out with a bit of jogging to stay fit for his main sports in the 1970s, those sports being badminton and squash. But in 1981, he decided to try a marathon in Dublin, and he would end up running another 22 of them around Ireland, Britain and also Sweden, and several of those were under 3 hours, while he also represented Wicklow in the Intercounties and Masters Cross Country. He became on-sec of his club, Bray Runners, in 1984. He then became Honorary Treasurer of Athletics Wicklow County Board, and he served on national committees as Juvenile Registrar and Finance Officer. The late, great Breda Sinnott twisted his arm. I don't think he could have said no. And of course, he's synonymous with Trinity College, where he has enjoyed 28 years, first as a lecturer and latterly as a professor of microbiology, along with 4 decades of involvement with the athletics club in the college, where he was elected honorary president in 1987, only stepping down 31 years later in 2018. He has also been president and chairman of the Irish Universities Athletic Association on 2 occasions, and it was with the IUAA that he first fired a starter's gun, and he has been that ubiquitous figure on the starting line for all manner of Athletics Ireland events and many, many others ever since. Among his favourite memory, in fact, is starting the 100 metres at the 2015 Morton Games, a race won by the former world champion Johan Blake. And he also fired the gun, so to speak, to start what looked like being a humble enough graded meeting, women's 100 metres in 2018. That was on a balmy, sunny June evening in Santry, which actually turned out to be a run in which Phil Healy set the still current Irish record of 11.28 seconds. And that's not all. He's been a track referee, a starts coordinator and an event official. It really is hard to know where anyone gets the time to do so much for the love of a sport. But he's not alone. And this award, more than any other, I think, represents the hundreds of men and women who turn up, they wear the bibs, they make the events happen on the day and on so many days of our Irish Championships. The Official of the Year is Cyril Smythe.
I'm absolutely thrilled to be receiving this award. There are many people who officiate at athletics, and I'm sure that this decision was not easy. I would like to thank whoever nominated me. I would also like to thank Athletics Ireland for selecting me as the awardee this year. I get great joy out of starting in particular. As a starts team, we have to decide who is doing what, because it's not just one starter. We have to have a recall starter. We have to have someone who's coordinating the event. And we have to have starters' assistants who are making sure that people have their hands properly behind the line or their toes behind the start line. So it's a group of people who are starting races. Athletes have to trust you and you have to trust them. And one gets the joy of seeing athletes develop over the years right through to international level. I've learned my craft as an official from many over the years, many of whom, of course, are no longer with us. And I would hope that in the future, I would be able to give back to other officials what I have learned over the years.
Now, at this point, we're just going to pause a few minutes from the awards to acknowledge the Irish records that were set in 2021. And there were so many of them, 58 at my last count. Mind you, the name of Rashida Adelecki appears on the record books a whopping total of 13 times in 2021, breaking and then re-breaking records over junior, under 23 and senior. But really it was also a bumper year more broadly for records, the most set in 1 year in Ireland since 2011. Now, looking over these graphics here, you'll see that some names that aren't actually Rashida Adelecki, who, by the way, set one of the great Irish records of the year, 22.90 seconds in the 200 metres, in winning the second of her gold medals that was in the 200 at the European Under-20 Championships in Estonia, which was an Irish senior, under-23 and junior record. You see also among these records as well the Irish mixed relay team's performance at the Olympics, 3 minutes 12.88 seconds in their semi-final, which was good enough to qualify them for the final. Another that stands out is Mark English breaking the men's 800 metres record that had been more than a quarter of a century old and belonged to my old RTE commentary box partner these days, David Matthews. Mark actually really needed that record to qualify for the Olympics, and he set it just a matter of weeks before deadline day. Other names to look out for here, the trio of male European underage champions and medalists. That's Cian McPhillips, Nick Griggs and Darragh McElhinney, who all broke records along with their substantial medal hauls in 2021. And they represent part of a particularly bright-looking future for Irish middle distance running. Barry Keane's brilliant 5,000 metre indoor record set in Boston in early December, that was pretty extraordinary. In the space of 13 minutes, 25.96 seconds, he moved past Mark Carroll and John Tracy in the all-time list and broke Alistair Craig's record easily enough in the end by 3 seconds. Israel Olatunde's great indoor sprint season is recognised there, and he's already lowered that record this year to 6.67 seconds. And there was that back and forth record-breaking duel of Nadia Power and Shia Fritz-Erik Butner in the indoor 800 last February. And of course, Sarah Healy breaking Sonia O'Sullivan's 30-year-old Irish under-23 3,000 metres record. Our multi-eventers Kate O'Connor and Diarmuid O'Connor went about reviving hopes of major championship representation, breaking records respectively in the heptathlon and in the decathlon. Field eventers like Eric Fabers in the shot put, pole vaulters like Sean Roth, Ellen McCartney and Una Bryce, they all advanced the Irish record in their categories. And special mention to the Irish 4x200 metre relay team that won silver at the World Relays in an Irish record. As I've said before, these awards are as much to recognise the volunteers who make events happen as they are recognising athletes in competition. And last October, a Tipperary woman received one of the highest acknowledgements in the sport for a volunteer, as she was honoured with the Women's Leadership Award from European Athletics. It's an award which highlights the really significant contributions that women like her are making to the sport. Working closely with her husband Jim, she's been a really pivotal character in restoring competition back into the Munster region during the COVID-19 pandemic. And she wears many hats, so to speak. She's done so as well for about 13 years, and she still holds a number of roles, such as she's the Munster Schools Athletics Secretary, she's also Munster Athletics Juvenile PRO, and she even looks after a number of regional websites, including those of Munster and Tipperary Athletics. So, a hugely deserved congratulations to Aisling Hoey on winning the European Athletics Women's Leadership Award. Now, these Irish Life Health National Awards offer an opportunity to recognise not just the achievements of athletes, officials, clubs and coaches in a national awards context, but also to acknowledge those who have been recipients of European Athletics Coaching Awards. And we're going to do that now, recognising two of our foremost coaches. And in the case of our first nominee, a fine athlete as well, a former international in cross-country and track, and now a coach at Kilkenny City Harriers, with over 30 athletes in her charge, along with her husband Noel, who's also incidentally a former Irish international. Together they form something of a dream team in coaching. And Niamh's background, by the way, she's Professor Niamh to her colleagues in Waterford Institute of Technology, is in exercise physiology, along with health promotion and public health. Three of our group are in scholarship in the US, and Niamh was in charge of the silver medal winning women's team at the European Under-23 cross-country in 2019 in Lisbon. She also sits on the Sport Ireland Women in Coaching Group and has recently been appointed to the Athletics Ireland Coaching and Development Committee, and is currently a member of the AAI Level 3 coaching programme. The first of the European Athletics Coaching Awards goes to Niamh Richardson.
I have been coaching for a long time now. I was an athlete initially and ran for Ireland many moons ago, and I got into KCH, got into coaching probably like many people because my children were involved, and I've stayed. So the community of coaches that are here, the complete selflessness that is coaching in athletics in Ireland is what really humbles me and is what keeps me coming 3-4 times a week all of the time, and it really helps when it's in an absolutely gorgeous setting like this in the Castle Park. I really do strive to try and create an environment where the athletes that I coach can be the best that they can be. That's what turns me on, and that's what keeps me coaching here. I'm absolutely honoured to receive this award. I'm flummoxed, quite frankly, and I really would like to acknowledge it on behalf of all of my colleagues here in KCH, all of whom are around me today, coaching today and every day. So it really is on their behalf as much as on my own behalf.
Now, the second nominee for a European Athletics Coaching Award has been among the most prominent sprint coaches ever produced in Ireland, and he is IAAF Level 4 qualified in sprints and hurdles and has been coaching for 22 years. An underage national title winner as a hurdler himself, he started coaching early with his club in Wexford and moved to coaching sprints and hurdles at WIT, where he is Athletics Development Officer, with a neat sideline making hurlers run faster, as he did with the Tipperary hurlers in their 2019 All-Ireland triumph. His star pupil is Ireland's fastest ever woman, Phil Healy, the Irish record holder at 100 metres and reigning Irish champion at both 200 and 400. Last March, Phil finished one place outside of the medals at the European Indoor Championships in Poland, and of course, she won that stunning race against Rashida Adelecki at the National Championships over 200 metres in the summer, while also becoming the first Irish woman to crack the 23-second barrier for the 200 metres. Recently, he's taken on the third fastest Irishman in history over 200, that's Marcus Lawler. The male nominee for the European Athletics Coaching Award is Shane McCormack.
I suppose it's just a draw for the sport. You know, I ran as an athlete. I got injured early, I suppose, in life. You know, I was only 19, and I suppose I just wasn't ready to leave the sport. You know, I was happy to remain in it in some capacity. And when you're getting brought around Ireland to races, and I just always found that you know, the commitment that these people were prepared to put into me as an athlete always just stuck with me, you know. So yeah, there's a huge element of that. I was lucky. I was very well mentored, I suppose, as I was working up through the ranks as an athlete and a coach. It's a huge journey, and I love just seeing the development and coaching the person that's in front of you and figuring out, you know, how to make them better, and the rewards when they do get better are, you know, that's no matter what level they're competing at, whether it's, you know, domestically or internationally, it's the same for me, you know. I just like the banter as well, you know. Like, I don't need to be here, I want to be here. Very honoured and privileged to receive this year's European Athletics Coaching Nomination Award. Thanks to Breed and Athletics Ireland for putting me forward for this prestigious award. I'd like, I suppose, to recognise the work done by all coaches around Ireland and working at the coalface day in, day out in Ireland that makes this sport what it is today. I'd like to thank my family, my wife especially, for the support she gives in allowing me to do this job as a coach, and really like to thank the athletes. And I'm just very honoured and privileged to be working with people like Phil Healy, which make my job that little bit easier.
Now, for our final two awards, it requires the opening of the judges' envelopes. And before we reveal the Irish Life Health Athlete of the Year, we are going to now announce the Performance Club of the Year award. This is calculated on a point system of achievement throughout the year by clubs in national championships and competition. I've been handed this envelope here by the chairman of the judges, which has the name of the winning club. And that winning club is the Performance Club of the Year. I have a feeling that the three athletes in the top four of the men's race at the National Cross Country might have just decided this, with Hika Tanosa leading them home. The Performance Club of the Year is Dundrum South Dublin.
Fantastic, that's absolutely super news. That award, while the athletes are at the centre of this award, I mean, we must acknowledge the work and the supports put in by the club from all the coaches, the support people, and the hours, the relentless hours of volunteer work done by everybody behind the scenes right across the club.
Dundrum has a long history in middle distance, and what this group has really shown me is that camaraderie that they have, and they're a fantastic group to work with. They're really enthusiastic, and they're just soaking up the training that we've been giving them over the last couple of weeks. I think that's what the beauty about running. There is that element that we can all come together and we can all embrace that feel-good factor, the effects of what running can do, and just that lovely sense of in it together.
I mean, central to the club's development has been a strong ethos of relying on coaches as volunteers. We currently have over 70 coaches. It's a huge cohort. We've had, you know, stalwart coaches who've provided voluntary service to the club for many years, like Eddie and Liz McDonough and many others. And without the coaches, there would be no club.
It's very rewarding. I think what we promote here, firstly, is the social aspect and the participation. It's not necessarily about, you know, the medal and the position you finish on the race line. On the finish line, it's about the camaraderie.
It's very unusual for a club to have, like, we've got from 16 up to masters competing in the league, so it's a real club. Like, everyone can do it, everyone's involved. It doesn't matter if you're young, old, how good you are. There is a real breadth across ages and also across events. We've every event covered as well.
It's a very exciting time for DSD with the development of the new track. It was a huge focus within the club to build that and have a place to call our own and get everyone together working as a team. So the campus committee have been working together on that for 15, 20 years, so it's a long road for them. It is a very exciting time for the club, and we're really looking forward to building on what we've done over the last number of years and get everyone together as a one big community, back together, training together, working together as we have been. We have a huge strategy on grassroots and developing all the way up through the club. So we put a big focus in the last 2 years in taking in the little athletics groups and building from there. And last year we've released our own club long-term athlete development plan. From that point of view, we've a nice pathway to bring them from this high right through to Olympian. And obviously that's always the dream.
We get people to try everything. try all the different events, whether it's a field event, long jump, triple jump, or a throw, because we don't know sometimes what we're good at. So that's where the support comes, and I think that's where we enhance our performance in this club, is that we don't pinpoint, we don't narrow focus in too much too soon.
There's a great ethos to the sport. It's great that people want to give their time, and all of the athletes, and I still enjoy it myself, love to train and love to compete and meet friends.
2021 was a very good year for the ladies team. We finished second in the outdoor league, which was fantastic. We were the first club, it was actually a county team that came first, so we were the top club team last year, so it's very good.
The achievements that we are obtaining at this Masters age group it's breathtaking.
And so, finally, we come to the naming of the Athlete of the Year. And for 2021, the Athlete of the Year, for the fourth time, is the man who finished just one place outside of the final at the Olympic Games, ending up with a ranking of 9th at the Olympics, the highest by any Irish athlete, Thomas Barr.
I never had dreams of actually making it to an Olympics. That was something that I thought was this faraway place for superstars that I never ever thought I could reach. So it was probably from 2010 to 2014 where I kind of made leaps and bounds, and that was where I went from being a mediocre or a decent athlete to then thinking this Olympics is actually within earshot for me. 2021 Olympics is a very strange term to actually think of. And the whole way up, we were all, as athletes, uncertain as to whether the competitions were going to go ahead right up until we actually landed out there. I have my own expectations and I didn't meet those. But taking a step back, it was my second Olympics, and there is no greater honour than putting on the green vest and going out. And I still get goosebumps every time when I'm on the night before a competition kicks off, where I'm putting my name bib, pinning it onto my Irish jersey or onto the vest and singlet, and that does still give me goosebumps. And taking a step back, it's very, very cool to think that I'm out representing the country, and I'm one of a very, very small number of people. You know, people work their entire lives in sport to try and get to that position, and I was one of the lucky ones to get there. So it's a really, really fantastic feeling, and I'm very, very proud to be in this position. I think you can tell by the smile on my face what this does mean to me to receive Athlete of the Year, because while I feel like I had a good year, it was still a little bit disappointing, but for Athletics Ireland selectors to think that I had a great year, I really, really do. It does mean a huge, huge amount to me to receive this award. And I think as I'm kind of pushing on in the sport, I realise and I can appreciate how much these awards do mean, because sometimes luck goes with you, sometimes luck goes against you, and we have a hugely strong cohort of athletes at the moment in Athletics Ireland, from youngsters right up towards the older generation of athletes. And to be chosen as Athlete of the Year is a huge, huge honour for me, because I'm very, very proud to be accepting this award, not just for me, but for everybody who has put in the hard work and the hard miles with me, my friends and family who have been there for me throughout the difficult times and have been a solid shoulder for me, and also my coaches and support team who have put in the hard work with me on the track and in the gym and on the physio bed. It's not just for me, this award, I'm accepting it on behalf of everybody. So thank you to everybody who has helped me to get to this point, and who is going to help me, hopefully, continuing forward. Thank you extra. I can't thank you enough, and we look forward to see what 2022 brings.
Congratulations, Thomas Barr, the 2021 Athlete of the Year. And that brings these Irish Life Health Awards to a close. So thanks for joining us over the last couple of days. I wish you all good health, good fortune, and for those of you especially in action in the months ahead, here's to fast times and good competition in 2022.